Gosper will speak on the topic of Australia wine, part of a lifestyle. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. James Gosper.
Thank you, guys. I'm glad you all had a little break over there to keep the humour up. I'm asking for the drummer guy because I want him to do that bang on my gigs. It's my gags, I should say. And he hasn't hit the high top yet, so we're waiting to hear that. What is it? Sorry, I forgot your name. Ian? Yeah. When are you going to hit the...
Only for the grand prize.
Only for the grand prize. Okay, we got it.
You might get lucky.
Thanks, Ian. When asked to chat to you guys today, it was obviously an honour, and had to think about who we are at Wine Australia and what we do, and try and keep it entertaining for a mixed audience of... we've got a number of industry people here, winemakers and marketing managers, and we've also got a lot of the most important people in the wine industry, and that are the people who love wine, have got no idea how to make it but love to drink it, and that's the consumers. And I thought it was interesting just to talk a little bit about how we actually interact with you guys, the consumers. An event like this is a great way of interacting with consumers, and it takes it beyond the level of what I would consider to be the boring interaction with consumers. It takes it to the food and wine level. It starts to creep into what I call the lifestyle space. But unfortunately, this is only a small sample of what we could do out there globally for wine marketing. And really, in general, wine marketing is an oxymoron. Out there, we spend billions of dollars a year in Australia, including our esteemed retailers, on wine promotion. But how many of you out there can actually remember the last really ingenious wine advertisement you saw, or a wine company backing a really high-profile consumer activity or event? How many of you can remember a really intriguing wine campaign? You can probably count them on one hand over your lifetime. We're dwarfed by the ciders out there, we're dwarfed by beer, we're dwarfed by spirits. Hundreds of millions of dollars a year are spent on price promotions. Bog-offs. We spend hundreds of millions of dollars a year on bog-offs. Buy one, get one free. We seem to think that that's what will make consumers drink wine, is the bog-off. Unfortunately, that doesn't just happen in Australia. It happens overseas as well. I spent 6 years of my life, I moved from winemaking actually into wine marketing. Some would say I moved to the dark side. I moved to New York, and I had the fortune of working for Moet Hennessy, part of the Louis Vuitton Moet Hennessy group, probably the world's greatest luxury goods company. And I had surrounded by me some great champagne brands like Moet de Chandon, Veuve Clicquot, Renat, Dom Perignon. We had vodka brands such as Belvedere and Chopin. We had Hennessy. They sell 2.5 million cases of Hennessy in the States alone. Surrounded by huge budgets, sexy girls in black dresses, billboards, parties, you name it. I walked in there as a wine marketing guy thinking, this is great. We are going to actually be able to do something to market wine to the people. But then reality came. The guys came and tapped me and the other wine guys on the shoulder and said, no, not you guys. You guys can't do that. You guys have to spend all your marketing dollars on price promotion. Wine marketing is about retailers bringing the price down and promoting wine at lower prices. The brands actually pay for that privilege, and that is the ingenious marketing of wine out there in the greater world. It's very unfortunate. Now, I'm speaking in general terms here, and there are some great brands out there doing some great things, but we need to get more motivated to do it. Now, working for Wine Australia, which is my current role, means that I actually get to promote Australian wine as a category. And when I moved into this area, I thought, again, maybe this might be my time to engage with consumers with a far more impact, to actually do something worthwhile, and to get the greater brethren out there to really start to think about wine, not as just a second thought, but to actually start to slide it up into their decision making, around what they're going to do in a day, and put it into their lifestyle choice. Now, promoting wine as promoting wine as a category, again, is very difficult. Again, we don't have access to the funds that we really need to do that. It means that we actually have to do a lot of what we call below-the-line promotion. We do a lot of education. We put up a lot of trade events for all of our winemakers to show their wares to the trade, to the buyers out there. We do tons of master classes and educations around the world, but we don't, unfortunately, get into any of the sexy advertising and marketing of wine. We don't get to spread the word as far as we can. Now, with the onset of social media, we're getting a little bit better at getting our word out, but we haven't been able to do it. But something happened in November last year. And now, when I moved back from the States about 18 months ago, I moved into the Tourism Australia's office, and we co-located with Tourism Australia. Now, Tourism Australia, like Wine Australia, is responsible for the promotion of the country, the promotion of what we have as a country here. And some of us might remember those great campaigns that we've had in the past with Paul Hogan, Chuck a Shrimp on the Barbie, Where the Bloody Hell Are You, Lara Bingle. Some of those great campaigns that really drilled down into the sophistication of our country. Some of them have been very successful. The Chuck a Shrimp on the Barbie, extremely successful, but it really did promote Australia as a larrikin, easygoing, beachcombing nation, and in a sense that we are. But last November, Tourism Australia actually got the results of a big study they did. They actually went out and did a huge survey across all of their markets that attract tourists to Australia. And what happened is, surprising to them, food and wine became the fourth most important trigger for travel for all the people that they surveyed, which is a very significant sample. And that has gone up from sort of 8th or 9th most important trigger for travel to number 4. And those above it are security of the destination, the ease to access the destination, and natural beauty. Number 4 comes in food and wine. Okay, that's great. That's fantastic. That raises food and wine. What does that mean for Australia? Well, what they also found in this study was that those who hadn't been to Australia rated Australia's food and wine offering in the top 20, but around about 16th in the world. Across different markets, it averaged out to be about 16th. However, those who had been to Australia and returned back to their country of origin actually rated Australia an average of number 2, second in the world. An example that came out of that was the US. US visitors who had not been to Australia rated Australia number 16th in the world. Those who had been to Australia rated Australia as number 1 in the world. Above France, above Spain, above Italy. Go figure that. Whenever you speak to Americans, all they talk about is going to Italy, going to Tuscany. However, this significant piece of research made us realise that what we have to offer here in Australia is something that is worth focusing on. Now, Tourism Australia have a lot of money. They have 20, 30 times more money than Wine Australia. However, Tourism Australia in the past have never actually put a focus on Australia's food and wine. They've never actually had a campaign or a strategy focused on our food and wine offerings. They've included it as part of their visuals, as part of their content. They've always had vineyard shots and food shots and glass shots, people sitting around the Opera House chinking a glass. But they've never actually thought we should lead an attraction to Australia through food and wine. However, this study made them realise that this is what they need to do. So last November, that little light bulb went on, and it so happened that we were also sitting in their office with one half of that equation, which is the wine side, saying, yes, we actually have known this for some time, we haven't had the money to do anything about it. So what has happened is that from the next financial year, July onwards, we actually, as Australians, have a significant amount of money and strategy going into the development of Australia's food and wine for our international guests, meaning the development of the perception out there in marketplace. This is a really exciting move. It's something that we've never done before, and we really, yep, thank you, it really is. What it does is it puts Australia's food and wine on the map. We all know it. We're all sitting here enjoying Australia's food and wine. Well, some of you are drinking some Kiwi stuff, but we won't think about that. We actually have the ability to take Australia's wine into the lifestyle space and tie it into the beauty of Australia's natural beauty, into Australia's natural beauty, and tie it into our fresh produce, and link it into what we all understand and believe, and that is the crystal clear skies, the fresh water, the space, and the attitude and the culture that Australia brings with its food and wine. The mateship, the stories, everything that bundles wine up that we just sort of take for granted, yet those people in our international markets haven't realised. So I just want to say, first of all, to Warren, who has been developing this concept over the last 32 years with the Top 100, the Sydney International Top 100, by bringing people together and tasting Australia's food and wine. I want to say thank you to you, and I want to say thank you all of a sudden to the realisation of Tourism Australia and our international guests that we actually do something that is worthy and number one in the world, and that's food and wine. So I look forward to the future. Thanks, guys.